Yes, yes, okay. And that we're coming together for fellowship in a sense, and especially with all the divisiveness and the politics and the social unrest that's happening, and the fear mongering that's all through the media. I find art and music as solace and as being that point of community. It doesn't matter where you're from. I didn't even understand that song. That was in French, but I was still feeling it, and somehow I got the vibe on it. You know, it's that universal language. And so I'd like to thank you for performing, Faith. And yeah, let's have you rock out. You have as much time as you'd like, and I'm just here to listen. So a big round of, to say this, if you're on video and your mic is muted, you can do this with your hands as a sign of applause. And that way the person will know that you're appreciating the vibes. All right, so big round of applause for Faith Amour. Yay!
Thank you so very much. I love seeing those hands. Very strange, but it's the best I'm gonna get. So I'm Faith Amour, and welcome to my Artery moment, presenting music that I wrote for my first album and music that I've started to write as I'm exploring new ways of being creative, new ways of being during this great pause. It's been a very interesting time for artists. Many are finding that they create more during a time like this, and others are finding that creation is just not possible. So the first song I'm going to do is going to be in French, and this is in honor of Chris Carr, because that's exciting. And so this is a song called "Where Are You?" Où es-tu? And it's about the search for the one. And I'm still looking. Dum 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 J'ai cherché longtemps pour toi. Je n'ai personne ici. Je me souviens de nos voyages ensemble, des moments que je n'oublierai jamais. Où es-tu? Où es-tu? Oh, how's my volume? En amour, nous étions en amour. Dis-moi qu'est-ce qui t'est arrivé? Un jour, tu étais là, la prochaine disparue. Pourquoi est-ce que tu es parti? Où es-tu? Où es-tu? Où es-tu? Où es-tu? Oh, chaque nuit je rêve de toi. Tu es dans mon esprit tout le temps. Il n'y a personne qui peut prendre ta place. Prendre ta place. Il n'y a personne qui pourrait prendre ta place. Prendre ta place. Mon héros, le télévision, le cinéma, ni le plat, ni le cœur glacé, ni le chauffeur, ni That is ooh, a tune. Now, this song was written within the last week and a half. It's my attempt at branching out into trap music. Anyway, this one's for you. 1 p.m. got a doctor's appointment cause my back's in a lot of pain. I wish I could tell you exactly how it happened, but I don't know, but it's okay. Doctor, oh please fix it for me. I can't take this anymore. Hurts to breathe, hurts to stand, hurts to sit, but I know that this won't last forever. No, ouch. No, 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 boy. No, 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 boy. No, 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 ouch. No, 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 boy. No, 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 no. Here's the real song. They say I have no filter cause my brain's a little vain. Now I must admit that I offend you, but it doesn't mean that we have to pass on this friendship. I'm telling you, please give me a free. I'll never be the same. There's some things you need to hear. That's why I'm here. I'm gonna tell you, my friend. I'll tell you no la 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 la. No la 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 la. No 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 never. No 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 never. No 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 la 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 la. No la 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 la. No 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 never. No 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 never. That song is still in progress. Oh, you if you liked it, you can do the things. I don't want to deny you the opportunity to do the things. Thank you, Mr. Grantley. Um, so thanks, guys. My second trap song ever. The first one actually that I wrote was a reason, or 26. The reason I remember that is because it's the last week of school here in Ontario, in Toronto. Uh, I realized that I wanted to give like a gift to the graduates of grade 8. They're the ones that I actually know personally. I know their interests. I know what kind of thing they like. And poppy trap music is kind of their thing right now. But I realized that I like no one was in school, but they had to have something to remind them, hey, you made it through a really challenging time. Like you all of you, like you're not going to get the graduation into high school, which is one of the scariest transitions for a kid. Like they hear about people getting beat up there and hard classes and teachers don't help anymore. Like these are all the things that they're told, right? And so they kind of need all that support, all the encouragement they can get to just like go to grade 9. And so they weren't having that. They weren't having that that graduation, walking across with their friends. And in middle school, friends are everything. They can kind of make or break your experience. So I really wanted to give them something. And then I realized if I write a song for grade 8s, why not make it a little bit more universal and make it something that anyone who's finishing a school year can kind of really appreciate, have fun with, enjoy. And so I wrote it, but it was really hard to write something that would mean something, but would also be fun. So I wrote the song called We Made It, or Nous l'avons fait. It was actually for a French class that I knew personally. And I translated it to English. And then, sorry, I'm like out of breath. Trapping is no joke, y'all. I'm just saying. Yeah, so I wrote it and then I sent it to the teachers, the grades that I knew personally. And then I posted it on the Facebook and I was like, hey, anybody that wants to use this, you don't have to buy it. You just like share it with your people. Just email it to your parents or your kids or whatever. So dozens of teachers engaged in that. Hundreds of kids got to hear the song. I don't know if you start singing a song after you hear it given from your teacher, but they heard it. Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia. So it was really exciting to know that the song was making it across the western part of Canada. And so I actually had no plans to sing it tonight because I don't even know if I remember the words. But let's say a quick hi. Hi there, Paz. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. So this is what we're going to do. Now that I've talked about that song so much, there's no way that I cannot actually play it for you. So this is We Made It, and it's a shorty. It's a shorty, but it's a goodie. And in terms of lyrics, I'm gonna do a Britney Spears. I'm gonna sing along with it, y'all. So that you don't have spots where there's no words. Just putting that out there. But here's We Made It. Oh my goodness. This was my first foray. This is exciting.
It's been a wild school year, I have to say. Started pretty normal, then the whole world changed. We didn't know what was going on, but we knew that in the end it would be okay. Some moments we always will remember, some moments we'll probably forget. But what matters is we're all in this together, in spirit, on screen, through our hopes and our dreams. We made it, yes, we made it through. We made it, now we've reached the end. It wasn't easy, but we know for sure we can make it through anything. We gotta thank all our teachers. They really did their best to take our learning in the classroom and make it all work on the internet. You're muted. Turn your mic on. I can't see you. Turn your video on. Too much noise. Turn your mic off. Why is there a hamster on your head? Turn your video off. We made it, yes, we made it through. We made it, now we've reached the end. It wasn't easy, but we know for sure we can make it through anything. Whoa. We made it, yes, we made it through. We made it, now we've reached the end. It wasn't easy, but we know for sure we can make it through anything.
Guess what? School's out for the summer. During the break, have lots of fun and make good choices. Like being kind to others, washing your hands, and getting your exercise. That
I
was
promise. You
satisfying.
won't turn green.
Not too green.
Anyway, you rock. Happy summer.
Ay, 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 ay. Thank you. That's we made it. So yeah, a lot of jokes I was trying to throw in there, just little silly things to make them smile because I've been really feeling for the kids, especially over this last 6 months. Just like what a doggone crazy mess, and you have no control because you're like under 18, and you just kind of go with the flow. And friends mean so much, so I wanted to share this. And what ended up happening afterwards, I had teachers emailing me and saying thank you so much for the song. I shared it with my kids, and then I heard from one classes, I think it was 4 students or so, who sent a message and said, thank you so much, Miss. They call me Madame Amour because I teach them French. Thank you so much, Madame Amour. How long did that take you to do? What you did that for us? So it really meant a lot. So I'm really glad that happened, that moment happened, despite everything else going on. So now I'm going to hop into this track called Mr. Ego. It's a funny song. I wrote it when I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. That was where I started my grown-up life. You move to a new city, you get your first apartment. I got my first car there. Probably my first bike stolen there too. Yeah, it was just so many memories. And so this song was one of, I think it's the 6th track off of my first album, Bright Eyes, which I should have here to just go, rah! But of course, I can't go anywhere. It's all good. So on that album, one little kid would say, "I want the song about the bird." Like, which song about the bird? About the eagle. What song about? I never wrote a song about an eagle. Not even anything about flying. What is this about? Which song are you talking about? So you'll hear it. You'll hear it. Why that little child thought the song was about an eagle. But it's really about someone in your life, most likely, or someone that you've seen on television, someone who thinks just so highly of themselves. They believe that the world basically revolves around them. And you kind of just want to take them down a peg. This is a song where I'd like for you to do an echo, but you don't have to turn your mic on because that will just be maybe a little bit of a mess, but maybe not. It's up to you. It's up to you. I changed it to a funk vibe on the album. It's a straight blues. So groove where you are. Da na 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 na. He spends 6 hours a day lifting in the gym. He thinks that everyone around him is so dim. Thinks he'll drop everything for him right on the whim. Because of course the sun and moon revolve around him. He's Mr. Ego. He's Mr. Ego. Gotta let go of all the pride if you want it by your side. Yeah. He might be a pro at life or gifted in his craft, but when he's in a shipwreck, his head would need his own life raft. He'd say, "Hey baby, you could be mine," and I would laugh because you might not make the draft. Go, yeah. You're Mr. Ego. Gotta let go of all the pride. You want me by your side. Wolf of the don't know if we need any kazoo in the. Hey,
He might be really cool and have a gift of gab. He might spray a cologne in the cab. You wonder why, oh mister, why are you so sad? I gave you all I had, and even now you want to send Mr. Ego. You're Mr. Ego. Gotta let go of the pride. If you love me by your side. Oh, you're Mr. You're Mr. You're Mr. You're Mr. You're Mr. You're Mr.
That's Mr. Ego. Can you see why the child thought it was about an eagle? It's an easy mistake. I think it's an easy one. Thank you. Oh man, so much fun. I appreciate it, guys. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna help a sister out who's trying to hop in here. I can't talk and do that. I'm so sorry. I wish I had more skills. Okay. Whew. Anyone else caliente in here? Anybody? No? Just me? Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's cool. Do you like my lights? This is my first time doing a performance with lights. Like that I produced, that I did. Because I do lots of fancy shows with lots of fancy lights, but never me setting them up. So I hope you like it. I hope so. Okay, so that one, Mr. Ego, crowd favorite. And usually what I'd have the audience do, I'd go, hey, are you Otto? Is that how I say your name? Otto? Hi, Otto. Thanks for, good to see you, man. So what I usually have people do is, Mr. Ego, Mr. Ego, Mr. Ego, Mr. Ego. So when I see you in real life, in person, doing a classic jazz show, I'll throw that song in there and you'll know exactly what to do. But what I'm doing right now during this pause, my home, my performing home closed down in June. It was called the 120 Diner, and it was where I did all of my shows for just performing jazz, classic jazz. And it just had this great vibe. It was just red and black and classy. And I actually have a recording. I recorded an entire DVD's worth of a show. If you want information on that, you let me know. It's like really, really, really good. I had a cinematographer do it. It's ridiculous. You definitely want to cop that if you like classic jazz. But now that place is closed. And so I can see this, my home, being my main performance space until things get super normal out there, because I'm not going to be the first one. Sorry. That's just not going to be me. So, so what's really fun about that, though, is that I'm in the home studio producing and creating music that I haven't done before. And so this next song is called People Are People. And it's just about how, regardless of skin color, regardless of status in life, when it all comes down to it, people are the same. Um, and we need to acknowledge that and start from there. We need to start from our common humanity, um, and to know that we're all loved. This is People Are People going into You Love Me. Oh, oh, oh.
People are people wherever you go, wanting the same simple thing. Honor, some shelter, some food and a bed, purpose and reason for living. Someone to bless when we turn out the light. Someone to say it will all be alright. All that we ask is a moment of delight. Our people, our people, our people, they're just people wherever you go, wanting the same simple thing. Happiness, joy, and the reason to wake up. Honor and all of God's blessings. Someone to laugh when we turn out the light. Someone to say it will all be alright. All that we ask is some moments of delight. Our people, our people, our
So when you come across a moment where you feel like, I don't understand this person, I don't understand this way of thought, how can they possibly X, Y, or Z, fill in the blank? I think the choice is to come with compassion, not to come with judgment, thinking that we know what's in the other person's mind or why they do the things they do, because we don't. And if we lead with love, there's nothing that can't be fixed. But we all need to kind of get there, yeah?
All that we ask are some moments of delight. Oh, people, not just human people, oh, people, oh, people.
That's people are people. Thanks, guys. I want to do that too. It looks like fun.
Yeah, for people wondering why I'm doing that, I do believe it does stem out of ASL or like sign language. And so I'm not just trying to be funny. Since our mics are muted, if the video's on, the artists still need to know that we love them. And so I want to let you know you are doing the thing, Faith. I appreciate you rocking out. This is amazing. All right, I'm going to shut up and keep going.
Much, much, much appreciated. Thank you, everyone who's here. We really are honored to have you spending your time with us this evening. This is an Artery showcase. This is hola. Come on video whenever you feel comfortable, whenever you can, even if it's just for a moment, so that I can see that you're there. And it's almost like having it's almost like having an echo. It's almost like having a real audience here in the same room. What's crazy about this time is that connections are being made that in some ways might never have happened any other way. For example, Mr. Carr, he's going to do a mini interview with me in a little bit, and there's no way, like, I don't know that I would know him or have connected with him. Actually, this might even be that moment, connect with him if it weren't for Artery. So maybe, Chris, you can take this moment while we're kind of in a calm zone before I jump back in to wrap up our time.
Sure. I'd like to thank all the newcomers and welcome the people that came in the room after we started. You are here for a wonderful event. This is the first ever Free World Festival, and it came out of desperation, in all honesty. Like, I make music, I've been making music, I throw shows, we run an art space, and when COVID hit, we couldn't do it. And between March and now, I can't explain to you how much I've missed live shows. And we've tried with Zooms, we've tried with, Facebook Living and Instagramming. And my friend and I, back in April or May, were like, yo, we throw festivals every summer. Like, this would have been my 8th year of a festival. And are we going to cancel? And we looked at each other, we're like, nah, we can't cancel. Let's take advantage of what this allows for. When we normally do our festival, it's in New York. So anyone in Toronto couldn't have been there. Anyone in South Africa couldn't have been there. Anyone in Australia couldn't have been there. So we looked at it, we're like, yo, we have friends all over the world. Let's do a festival that celebrates the hyper-local and share it with the global community. And we are not technicians, so it's no way we'll be able to get a website up and run everything through the website this year. But let's start the process. Let's figure out how to reach out to people we know internationally. And let's show people what's really happening out here. Because you watch the news, you don't see this. You don't get these vibes. When you look on TV, you don't know about all this fantastic artwork going on all around the world. And so let's use this technology to share with each other. And so I'm really, really blessed and honored to have you participate. I asked you a couple questions prior to us starting, but in general, I'd love to know your kind of approach to music making, because you have a contemporary sound, but you also, when you started playing part of your album, I was like, wait, this is a young person? Like, how? Young people don't do this anymore. So can you give me a little idea of your influence and how you're also staying contemporary and young and fresh?
Okay. So I am under all of this a senior citizen. So it's just the vampira, the melanin. It's all disguising. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll show it to you sometime. Like the vitamins and all the things I take. But yeah. So I grew up in a very sheltered, conservative Christian household, Caribbean. So listening to the music of today, whatever that was, so the hip hop that was coming up, the pop music, all of that, that was not my thing. I would have to be secretly listening to that. If I wanted to listen to cool music, I'd have to, listen on my friends' like tape deck or something, because I'm a child of the 80s. I'm not a baby. So like Gaither Gospel Hour on Sundays, if anyone knows anything about that, Southern Gospel. So when I did try to connect with my peers, it was harder because music was so important. So I would eventually try to listen to rap and the pop of the day. So Britney Spears was kind of my era. Um, and I got really versed in that while still taking classical piano lessons and singing in a, you know, classical choir. Lynn, I am older. I am old. I am older than I feel. I feel very young, except for my back right now. I won't even go there because that's not what this is about. So, but the safest music that I could actually perform out in the world was jazz music, because it was, you know, kind of like a pure love that we're singing about, right? It wasn't super suggestive, but also didn't have curse words. It was like that neutral, safe genre. And so still having the same background, but I could sing jazz. And I really loved it. I love swing. I love I was doing a tour of her for like 2-3 years, just a tribute to her music, because her story is so unique. And her voice, she's like her scatting's ridiculous. But then I also found myself falling deeply in love with trap maybe 4 years ago, and being like, what? Am I cool? Am I? That's not right. But yeah, I liked it. So I listened to the radio, Jazz FM 91, and you know, the hip hop radio stations. That's kind of how I stay classic yet fresh. That was the question, right?
Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean,
Oh, and it helps me relate to the students too. Like if I actually know who Lil Baby is, then it is a good conversation starter, and they will listen to me and obey. Yeah.
I guess the another question I would have is, what do you enjoy? I don't want to say most, right? I don't want to put anything on a hierarchy, but what is it that's really fulfilling for you when you're performing, or recording? Like, are you more of a studio musician? Do you really enjoy live shows? Do you like improvising, or are you more like, no, I want to have all the sheet music written out? What's your take on these things?
I'm definitely a combination kind of artist. So I'm finding that right now my passion is primarily for recording, being in the studio, but my studio experience in this moment is very solitary. So I'm liking exploring. I'm liking that individual thing. But when it comes to performing, like Lynn and Grantley have know that like my energy is just and I just kind of give, and it's very exciting and fun, and most of that comes from the audience energy giving that back to me. It's like that interplay. Lynn, do you have a favorite performance that you've been to? So Lynn is in New Mexico, so she's from yonder. Oh, see, people are clapping for you. Do you remember any of the shows that you've come to? You know how to turn on your audio?
You gotta unmute you, Lynn.
Oh, there you are.
Hey guys, hey, it's been a while since I've seen Faith because we're really far away from her. But we were colleagues for several years here in, she would do night shows here and there, just amazing, stunning woman, and just blew this city away because no one here had seen anything like her. And we were all real sorry to see her go, but I think Toronto's lucking out right now because there's no one else like her there. I'm sure of it. And everybody else is a wannabe, I think. She's just finding her own voice now after all these years. I don't know why it took her so long, because she started out with her own voice and then she went into Ella Land for a while, like years. And other amazing voices, but she has, her voice is solid gold, and I can't wait to hear what's coming up. I just can't wait.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Lynn tells it like it is, and it's true. The album was the last thing I did in Santa Fe. I moved to Toronto and went all safe. I moved back here and I got safe. So yeah, this pause is my breaking free from the safety and yeah, creating and using my voice because I know that it's mine alone, and it's my job to use it. No one else will.
That brings me to the last question I want to ask for this segment. I want us to be able to jump back into music.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile or, in a way, negotiate singing older songs or songs influenced from more traditional time, and then being able to include your thoughts, your voice, your reflection of what society is now in an art form that people may not be used to hearing that? Does that make sense at all?
Are you saying the older art form isn't used to hearing current, or the current like poppy art form not being used to hearing? I guess social consciousness is kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, you added a layer to it that I wasn't even considering, but actually both. Like in the idea of, I've gone to a ton of shows with jazz and blues artists, and they are, in a certain way, they're appreciated for their new and original work, but part of it's also playing the classics, is going through the canon and knowing like you got the chops to run through that. And some of the modern music, some folks may be like, wait, what's this vibe? And with you, like you having your voice, like you finding this kind of reflection of self, how do you negotiate that or reconcile that?
So I think that's been part of the process while I've been here in Toronto, to figure out how do I honor the music that came before and the people who appreciate the music that came before, and wanting to say new things in new ways. And I think it's a matter of realizing that they might be just a different set of people. What we have to do as artists is kind of, I think, if anyone knows Kev on Stage, he's a social media comedian. And what he does, he has maybe 6 different avenues of how he uses his comedy. And it could be 6 different audiences that like him for a different thing. He's not trying to put it all together. I think that's what the challenge has been for me, trying to put it all together, just knowing that some people will like this, some people will like that. I'd rather you come and you like it all because it's all in that same vein. So what I've ended up doing, some of the songs that you're hearing are part of what I call the Imanova project. Imanova is Imani and Nova together, Imani being the Swahili for faith, and Nova being the Latin for new. So new faith. Finding new ways to express, new ways to create music. And I think I'll have to break that into Imanova Jazz and Imanova Pop. This is all this is all branding stuff, but I think it makes sense. It's all kind of business oriented, but if someone loves who I am and also loves this strain of my music, then that's a really good match. So if you like the trap stuff that I've been coming up with, Imanova Pop's for you because it's poppy, trappy, it's just newish stuff. If you like more modern jazz, not the standards, but like stuff that's cool with interesting chords and goes places you're not expecting, Imanova Jazz, that's for you. And then if you love the classics, then you're probably a certain demographic. You probably like the same kind of bunch of songs, and you'll know that that's your world. So it's still me, but not everyone can handle all the facets of you, right? So you have to know who you're showing it to. So I'm being intentional about that, as opposed to saying, here's all of me, take it or leave it, because it makes it easier to leave it.
Right. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you. All right. So I guess we can get back to the show.
I guess so. So not too much more, guys. Really appreciate your time. I don't want to steal your evening, although in New Mexico, I know it is on the 6 tip, 6:11. Ooh, Yeah, so I'm gonna finish with two. You Love Me is I guess technically my first love song in a really long time that I've written in English. It's probably my first love song in English. Um, and you can see it as a love from a lover, love from God. There's different ways to see it, but it's just a really good feeling. It's a kind of song that's a really beautiful feeling. So I hope you enjoy it.
Deeper than the deepest sea, higher than the highest height. Your love is never, never gonna leave. Lower than the lowest low, wider than the widest wide. I know you never, never leave me. Oh, you love me. You love me. You love me. And I'm precious. You love me. And never anyone would want to say your love's gonna go. I would tell them no. Everything that you ever said to me says you're never gonna leave, never gonna forsake me. Yeah, I know it's true. 'Cause, you love me. You love me. You love me. And I'm precious. You love You love me. You love me. You love me. And I'm precious. You love me. Listen to the sound.
Okay, this is my last song. I wanted to give you a heads up. Thank you. Oh, thanks, man. That one I wrote last week, and Uncle Grantley kind of heard it, but I hope that it was better this time. So this last one, oh, I made a trip to Nairobi, Kenya. Oh man, I think it's 7 years ago now. It was the year I left Santa Fe, and we went to a small town called Buruburu, and we stayed at this seminary there, and they had like lodging, like dormitories and stuff, and it was amazing just how warm and inviting, and like they were just really kind to us strangers, Americans. And so I determined that I would go back at some point in my life. And the thing is, going to Africa is like, it's not something that you take lightly. Like there's planning and there's a lot of money, and like it takes a lot. So I don't know when that will be, when I'll go back to that country. the sis that was in here just before, I went to her wedding last summer in Nigeria, but still being on the continent, it's not necessarily close. So one day I'll go back to Kenya, and this song is about that. Listen to the sound of wind across the desert sand. There's a place I found. I'll show you where. Just take my hand. Sun rising high on the African plain. You call me home, you call my name. Oh, boo boo, where hearts are afraid. Oh, boo, you have called my name. Red earth feels the creases of my skin. Soul stirring, eyes burning, but ready to begin. Oh, Buddha, Buddha, your hearts are open. Oh, Buddha, will I ever be the same? Kipande cha moyo wangu katika milele Afrika. A piece of my heart is forever in Kenya. I will return to tell you where I've been, see who you've become. I will return to tell you where I've been, see who you've become. I will return. I will return. I will keep your light in my heart. I will never be the same. Eyes that I remember still, smiles that will remain in my heart. Eyes that I remember still, smiles that will remain in my heart. That's Buru Buru. That's it. That's the set.
Yes.
Show's over.
Yes. That's awesome. Thank you again. How can people find you and find your music online?
People people can find me at faithamourjazz.com. That's my name with jazz.com. Faith Amour, A-M-O-U-R, jazz.com. They can follow me on any of the socials. I am joining TikTok tomorrow now that this very exciting show is over. Truly, I will have all this relief that the technology worked out, and I will dance about it for 15 seconds on the TikTok. But yes, Instagram, Facebook, I have a page there, and those are the most important places to find me. But yeah, there's the album that can be purchased, and there's a new one coming. Really excited. I'm just clearing copyrights right now. It's very, very exciting for classic music. And then the EP that was funded by the Toronto Arts Council. So the local government here in Ontario for the city of Toronto has helped support me to create this EP. So that's part of what the process of writing these songs is. So just follow and join my mailing list, send your email in the chat, and then I will just make sure you know all the things you need to know. That's all there is to it.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
good. Again, another round of applause. I appreciate you rocking out with us. And I'm glad we got this recording. I'll send it over to you.
Thank you all so much for coming.
And to close us out, I was just going to share a poem or two. And it's a tough time right now. I don't want to speak for other people, but between COVID, between the social unrest, there's so many elements of our social fabric that are changing, developing, and we're in a period of transition. And it's easy for me to allow the fear and allow the contention and allow the conflict to occupy a lot of space. And I watch the news, and on one side it aggravates me, but then when I watch the other side, it still aggravates me. And then when I talk to my friends, they aggravate me. But then I hang out with my friends and I'm like, wait, I love y'all. Like, I need y'all. Like, more than ever am I aware that I need interpersonal communication. And I appreciate interpersonal communication. And in my artwork, I've been trying to figure out what to do. I think you mentioned, Faith, this idea of like, there's some people who've been making a lot of work and other people who aren't right now. And I get the feeling of like, I'm at home, I have time, let's make stuff. But then what? Put it out and promote it? How can I promote music right now with everything happening in the world? How can I tell people that I know lost their jobs, give me money for something? You know, how can I contribute? Is anything I'm saying gonna help, right? And in some of my poetry, I was presenting it initially during a time period where there was far more stability. So I was kind of the type of person that when Bill Clinton was in office, I was still telling people that our economic system wasn't sustainable. So then when it started crashing, that wasn't new for me. It wasn't like 2008 or 9. I'm like, oh, I got music now about the economy. It was like, oh, now y'all see what I was talking about 10 years ago. But with some of my songs or verses about social conflict, the way it's happening now, I almost want to make like peace, hippie meditation music, because I don't want to incite more people into aggressiveness. I don't want to incite more people to feel like they're powerless. And that can sometimes happen when you are acknowledging the realities of our country. So in the pieces I'm going to read tonight, I'll try to share one or two that touch on these things, but we won't go too far. I'll probably just read a part of them. And then we'll finish for the evening. All right, so let me see here. I'll start with this one. It's an idea of, about like the rule of law. If laws are unjust, you're supposed to break them. We ain't make them. It may take the town being set on fire for friends and country folk to await the revelation of the grand awakening. The pale horse rises like tides, clash of the Titans and Titus, its third eye blinded Iris. How are we supposed to respect the rules imposed by a violent, oppressive state that gives no voice to the people in public and assumes alignment when there's no defiance? Decisions for the many made by a few in private, and we don't understand how the machine works, nor have a way to view the components inside it. Rest in peace to peace. So I say, I'm tired of the self-destruction. Let's give a moment of silence. All right, so that's the beginning of that piece. That's just a start. Then this piece, Golden Art, smart, he wrote books out of pages. He had a plan to take crooks out of cages. They look in amazement while I look at all y'all and I say, you're looking amazing. Some people are like, don't touch black folks, like we got soot on our faces. F that, I sweep the chimney, built the house and fixed the roof when it's raining. Broken heart, open scar, my booklet is sacred. I feel good about aging. It's the footage you're aping. My hood has been facing gentrification. See, we ain't safe in this space like chickens locked in a coop with a wolf and a caveman. Or you're a young actress sitting next to Bill Cosby, he got jello, pudding, and cake mix. Your boss might say, stay put for that placement. F that. Life's not a game, but if it is, it's chess, not checkers, so move like a knight in an L with a crooked formation. Rooks get took, the data matters, check the booklet for banking. I had an emotional outburst and I couldn't contain it. Instead of getting mad, I wanted to crowd surf and I shouldn't explain it. It's nature, acres, trees, paper. But somehow the woodland was left tainted. The capitalist says, put your foot in the face of the faceless to make a little green paper. But they not ready to see Bigfoot in the Amazon basin. Why? They stay stuck like they got roots in the basement. While me and my homies travel out of town. No tour rider, no manager, no money, no passport, and no booking arrangements. I was supposed to be sleeping on my friend's couch in South by Southwest like, what was I saying? I can skin a cat on a hot tin roof with the statement. I see the shot, I shoot when they're waiting. Reggie Miller from the three-point line taking it to the hoop like a layup. We in New York, so I say I'm nice like Dwight Gooden and Daryl Strawberry in 8-6, but I never partook in the cocaine. I don't snip and I don't cook for the pagans. Now my life is about being and time, which is Sein, Zeit, and Heidegger. My friends are like, Chris, your mind ain't right. Well, I concur, but I'm trying to learn from what I observe. The lines that I write glide like a kite to the sky, but my plans crash like the Hindenburg in a land with a bison word. Some people say hindsight is blinding you. You talk too much about race. No, I look to the future where in every science fiction film and book, black people don't exist. Then I take flight at a navigator, see high heights. My sight line is pine and firs. Me and my folks bind tight like isomers, grind like pyrite, iron knives and spurs. The highlight of my wild nights aren't getting drunk, I'm sober now, but it's hanging out with people I never met, sharing these righteous words. My life is a blur, I just write what occurs. Side swipe, metal blades, slice the fur. These guys like ice escapades, lies and blurbs, dice on curves. While me, I ride a bike at an unmeasured pace, no pedal brake, smash my face, lose 2 teeth and strike a vital nerve. No more eating fried rice and curds, but I know the sky is bright with birds. But here on the ground is labor force strike, divine rights, keyboards and wordliters. The jagged line and verb. The lines that I write are designed to merge, bind and diverge, swerve through traffic lights, climb heights to icebergs, and chill next to third wave, feminism, primal fear, vinyl sphere spinning, bird cage, cynicism, rifles versus spears, Palestinians versus Israelis, the blind can hear, so why the fuck can't my friends listen? So my wordplay is Stevie Wonder Intervision. Even if I was blind, my sight is clear. If we fight, I don't have to bite your ear. It's peace, and that's the birthplace of benediction. Matter of fact, I should buy everyone a beer as a reciprocal fact of the fraction of us dying here. An earthscape of children, men and women in prison, that's a lot of pain and hurt. But don't cry, dry your tears. We'll work, grind like gears, and grow old, live by the sea. Look at the mermaids, have a nurse aide. But since I was young and in first grade, my type of minimalism is to travel the whole world to end up back in Brooklyn to find new peers. Now, before I answer the question of how or why we're here, I persuade there's no difference between love, whether you're asexual, non-gender binary, trans, gay, straight, bi, or queer. I'm just glad y'all here. Cheers, y'all. Peace. Thank you. So yes, so that will conclude the 4th day of the Artery component of the Free World Fest. And again, the idea of this Free World Festival is like, we are free of boundaries. We welcome all genres of music, I'm not worried about, yeah, there's a planet, but then people drew a map and put lines on it and then started naming places. And now we're supposed to be different because you're Jamaican and this person's Puerto Rican and this person's Chinese, and we all humans. And with the Free World Festival, we wanted to reiterate that and remind ourselves to rehumanize. And I know there's stratification. I definitely am not a person that's going to say I'm colorblind. I'm very aware of how society is functioning. But I also firmly believe that we will dictate what the future will be. And if we decide that love can conquer all, that's a step in the right direction. And so I appreciate y'all being a part of this. Is there any going away shouting part you'd like to give, Faith?
Put me on the spot. No.
You don't have to say anything. You might just like, nah, we're good. You know?
No, just a huge thanks to all of you for coming, to you, Chris, for creating the space, to Artery for the collaboration. It's amazing to be in Brooklyn this evening and be able to go to bed in the next 15 minutes in my own bed. It's just, I don't even know. It's technology.
You love it, right? So shout out to all the people that tuned in. If you all are interested in more shows like this, either through artery.is, you can find some streaming activities. Definitely keep in touch with Faith. I believe Faith dropped the info. If you did or didn't, make sure you drop your info in the chat. So before we head out, people can click that or copy and paste it.
That's smart, man. That's smart. Just want to do a little shout out. Hey there, Otto. Thank you for coming by. Adita, awesome to have you by. Eunice, you're a rock star. And this is my website if you would like to see what is up in the chat.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. And so I'll give people a second to copy that or paste it somewhere. I won't close the chat yet because then it'll disappear. And to all the people that tuned in, if any of you are artists or musicians or creatives, whether you're in culinary arts, whether you do puppeteering, whether you're, more traditional music forms, feel free to send me a note. And if you'd like to do a stream, if you'd like to do a workshop, if you'd like to do a discussion, we had a discussion maybe closer towards May in how we would proceed forward as a community and dealing with some of the social unrest that was happening where there were no performers, but it was a chance for people to just talk and vent and have community and exchange information with people that are all over the country. So we heard what was going on out on the West Coast, what was going on down South, what was happening on the East Coast. We had some Canadian folks that were involved who were explaining some of the issues happening around Indigenous land rights and recent changes in those capacities. So we'd like to use this technology to build. And I know social media can be kind of nasty at different points. We hope that we can use this technology and this media to share, like I said earlier, share love and this common human experience that's beautiful. So I appreciate all y'all.
Anything that anyone on the live wants to say before we go? We'll give 5 seconds for you to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
You want to say?
Welcome to Toronto.
Thanks for having us.
I just want to say thank you to both of you, Chris and Faith, for the singular word that strikes me is passion. The passion in which you both use your art forms, the singing and the poetry. Chris, I don't know how you could remember all that, all those words, and
those
the
words
passion that you delivered them with. It was just outstanding. The passion. Wow. And Faith, I love, Faith, how you play with your voice as an instrument. I just love it. And I noticed it in more than one song. Like you're singing words, and then there's this moment where you start playing with your voice.
I get antsy. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank
Thank you
you.
both.
Thank you. All right. Well, awesome. All right. So I guess we'll close out. You all enjoy the rest of your evening and be safe out there.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.